So yes, we work with Atom Bank, who commissioned us to do a study about financial stress and the impact that that's having on people's well-being. And it was timely that we did it to launch on National Stress Awareness Day, and to find actually payday for a lot of people is the time when their stress levels start to peak. That you'd think that just when the money's dropped into your bank account, you'd be relieved. But actually, that's the point that you're furthest away from your next paycheck. And a lot of people will start worrying about how they can get to the end of the month without running out of money. Absolutely, and that in itself is a key concern. That you bury your head in the sand, and you're likely to get to the point where you run into problems or you hit a sticky patch. In fact, one of the things that we came out in our study is 85% of people don't know exactly how much money they have in their bank account because they're literally employing avoidance tactics. Now, it's better to know and then start planning your finances than to avoid them altogether, because, one of the things that we found is the longer you stay away from the demon, the bigger the demon gets in your head. It should be, yes, but giving people access to the information is half the battle. Educating them what to do with the information is the second part of it. And I think that's where the traditional banking approach has failed us a little bit, because yes, we've got access to information, but if you're finding that you're starting to run out of money or hitting a sticky patch or wondering if you're going to have enough money to get to the end of the month, but not having a solution is how to navigate that, that can actually make things worse. And this is, as I said, where we found that the approach that the Atom have taken quite interesting, because they're looking at supporting their users and their customers with finding not only the information they need, but also what to do with it and being proactive about managing their finances. Sure. Absolutely, and a lot of people are borrowing money. They're looking to buy things that they don't need with money they don't have, and that in itself is a challenge, because we live in a very consumerist society where we're driven to buy the next new phone and the next new car and the next new this and that and the other. And the reality is that we found from doing global studies is that some of the happiest people we've come across are the ones that have the least. The more that we have, the more stress that we get, and the more that we feel that we need. And actually looking at, prioritizing our life, thinking about things that truly make us happy, rather than getting drawn up in this cycle of spending and borrowing, which is kind of sadly ever decreasing circles. Absolutely, but I think the education starts at the individual level, rather than kind of putting restrictions on who can and can't borrow money. Educating people to make better decisions themselves. So rather than telling people what they can and can't do, ensuring that people are making the right choices for themselves. And this is where I think that we need to take a step back. I remember leaving school, and 6 months after I left school, most of the stuff that I'd learned I'd forgotten about. But I wish when I was at school I'd been taught some things of real value, like how to manage my finances, how to manage stress, things that actually would have stood me in good stead to deal with the everyday challenges of life. And I think this is where we maybe need to look at the education system, to look at how we do manage and support and educate youth in being wiser about making financial decisions. In fact, one of the things that we learned, one of the shocking statistics, was 76% of 18 to 24-year-olds don't understand basic banking terms like ATM, direct debit, and ISA. Now, there's obviously a clear need for us to be doing better to equip the youth of today to deal with the financial challenges of the future, particularly in the post-Brexit era. Absolutely, and this is where, as I said, like we're really happy that Atom Bank have created an app, so it's appealing to the swipe right generation. Oh, exactly. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And if this is the language they speak, rather than trying to speak to them a language they don't understand, if they're living app-driven lifestyles, then let's deliver information to them in a way that they will understand. Yeah, and that's the thing. If we are employing appropriate financial management techniques, is that yes, okay, saving a bit, also making sure our priority bills are paid, but also ensuring that we are setting a little bit of time, a little bit of money aside for enjoying ourselves. Because when you are, have a pot of money that is your play fund to go out on and enjoy yourself and do fun things, that in itself puts you in that kind of positive, motivated cycle rather than operating from a state of fear and stress, shut your eyes and hope for the best kind of approach, which many people are taking from what we learned in our study. Now, the interesting thing about managing financial stress is the same as managing any stress. The first step is putting yourself in a positive state. Now, if you take the time to look after your well being, sleep well, eat well, exercise regularly, take time for mindful activities like walking or meditating or whatever else that you do, when you are in a more positive, balanced state of mind, you'll make better decisions in all areas of your life, including your financial decisions, because you're more level headed. Now, I'm sure you found this yourself that when you're stressed, the kind of decisions you make, you would approach from a very different place than if you were in a relaxed, balanced state. In fact, if you're in a good state and you have a problem or a challenge, you'll find that the way you approach and deal with it is very different than when you're doing it from a place of panic. So actually, to better equip yourself to cope with your finances, the first step is to ensure that you're taking time on a regular basis to manage your finances. But specifically with your finances, recognition is a key part of the process. As you are able to take the time to recognize when you're in a state that's not serving you, you can then start taking appropriate action to do something about it, addressing both not just the symptoms, but the cause. Forward planning is the key to success. So once you've recognized you're in a state that's not serving you, what can I do about it? How can I plan, prioritize, budget to ensure I never get to the point where my situation is overwhelming me? So, people would like more information about how to manage and reduce stress and also to take our personal stress test. You can visit our website, which is www.stress.org.uk. Fantastic. Thanks a lot.